What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the pit.
What a ride. Today's topic is something that I've been talking to with more than a few people here lately, and a couple of videos I've seen on YouTube and TikTok. And it's about people that think certain activities are going to make them look a certain way, all right, when in fact they're not, and let me explain. You see wrestlers. Let's look at a wrestler, all right, and they're big and they're bulky.
Tell you something, brother.
All right. Now, somebody might think, well, if I want to be big, bulky, and strong, then I better start wrestling. So they get in there and they start wrestling. And then after a while, they're like, well, shit, this ain't working. Why ain't I big and strong? Well, because, are they wrestlers because they're big and strong? Or are they big and strong because they're wrestlers? You get what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is a ton. And this is something that all these people that want to sell you snake oil all the time, whether it's products or programs, they don't want you to know. Genetics plays a huge, huge role in how you look and what you can do. And I know you don't want to hear that. And you may say, well, Nick, that just makes me feel hopeless. Things are not hopeless, you know, but if that shatters your dreams, then you need to sit back and figure out how to be a little bit more resilient, all right? Hang with me here. It is well known that people who are genetically predisposed to be good at a certain thing are drawn to that thing. All right? You know, when everybody's young, kids are trying this out, trying that out, and they figure, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. But after a while, when your genetics start becoming a determining factor in your success of that particular sport or activity, people start dropping to the wayside now, don't they? You know, especially when you start getting into the college levels. All right? That's when the cream of the crop starts rising to the top.
Oh,
yeah! Especially when you get into the amateur and pros. That's when all the people who are not genetically predisposed to that sport or activity, they go bye-bye, okay? And that's just the way that it is. And that's the way it should be, okay? We want to see the top people compete with the top people. That's what would be the point. You know what I mean? I don't want to see somebody out there foot racing my grandma. You know, that's bullshit. Don't believe these snake oil salesmen, all right, that want to sell you this product that says you're going to be able to be Dorian Yates, you're going to be able to be Arnold Schwarzenegger if you do this routine and you take this supplement. Because I got news for you, Jack. Unless you're in the top 0.5% of humanity, you're not going to be able to do that. You might be in the top 0.5% of humanity to be a power lifter, but you're not going to make it as a bodybuilder, okay? You might be predisposed to get strong as hell, but you just don't have the genetic makeup, the physical makeup to be a bodybuilder. You don't have the look that is absolutely necessary. You might have the will. You might have the determination.
You don't know me, son.
You might have all the natural talent in the world. You just might not have the body for it. Your body just might not be built that way. You know, to have the big swole up muscles, you might have a little too much space in between your pecs. You might not have quite the right insertions. You know, there's a ton of things to look at. Okay? And I know people out there that can get really big and muscular, but they're not all that strong. Not really. I got a cousin who wasn't no bigger than a squirrel. He could smoke a 500-pound deadlift. It was crazy. You know, he couldn't bench press shit. But damn, was he a good deadlifter. He's just predisposed to be able to do that kind of thing. He's just gifted in that realm. If you've got questions about certain things that you want to attain, find somebody that is familiar with that subject, that has had some skin in the game, preferably lost some skin in the game. Find a bodybuilder, a successful bodybuilder. Find somebody that's a successful strength trainer. Find somebody that might be a successful power lifter or a strong man, you know, relatively successful. Somebody that's not a bullshit artist. Somebody that just doesn't look the part, but actually has a background in it, okay? A trackable background, you know? There's nothing wrong with talking to someone and getting their backstory on things, all right? If you're savvy about it and you let them do most of the talking, they'll tell you everything they want to know. And then you can be confident if they know what they're talking about or if they're just full of bullshit. Some people out there are just born to be muscular and lean at the same time. That's just the way that it is. And they look great, and God bless them. You know what I mean? Like if somebody wants to come to me to learn how to get strong, I can show them that. But I'm not going to be able to show you how to get abs. You know, I can tell you how to do it. I know calories in, calories out. I know that. But there's better people out there to ask than myself. One of the reasons that abs are so damn desirable is because for the general population, they're really hard to get. You have to work your ass off in the gym for your little abs to become big enough to actually be visible when the time comes that you decide to starve yourself until they start showing up. That's what you do. You know, they say abs are made in the kitchen. That's like 80% right, you know. Now, you can starve yourself to the point, you don't have to lift weights, and you can starve yourself to the point where your abdominal muscles are visible, but it's not going to look right. You know what I mean? You want a nice, healthy, strong-looking set of visible abs. If you want that, you're going to have to work your ass off for it. If you're the vast majority of the population, that's why everybody thinks they're so great, and they are great. I mean, they look great, but they're not a sign of strength. Honestly, when you start getting around 17, 16% body fat, isn't that generally when your abs begin to show up? And the healthiest body fat percentage for a human being is somewhere between 15 and 22, 23. You start getting on up to 24, 25, you might start experiencing some health issues, or they start becoming more likely. But you know, between 15, 18, 20, 22, that's a healthy body fat percentage for people, period. Throughout history, visible abdominal muscles have been a sign of malnutrition. Again, there is a certain portion of the population that are going to have visible abs no matter what. Their bodies are naturally going to be lean, and they're going to have the musculature for them to show up. That's just the way that it is. But for the vast majority of population throughout history, visible abdominal muscles are a sign of malnutrition. But because of modern medicine and the availability of food, we don't have to carry around that extra body fat percentage. As Homo sapiens, we are predisposed to turn a lot of things into fat, okay? I think that's one reason we outlasted the Neanderthals. The Neanderthals, I don't know how you say it. They change shit up all the time. But we either bred them out or we survived them out because we were able to keep body fat, all right? That's what we're made to do. Different races keep body fat in different places. People that come from colder climates tend to keep it in their midsection, all right? That keeps their internal organs warmer, okay? Now, if you come from a hotter, more arid climate, your ancestors do, you tend to keep it in your ass, okay? If you look around, you'll see what I'm talking about, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna move on, all right? But back to abs. Don't get obsessed with abs, okay? If you get obsessed with abdominal muscles, you are putting the rest of your body's potential to get stronger and healthier at a disadvantage. You really are. I can hear some people out there arguing. La, 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 la. If you're part of that population that can have abs anytime they want it, still get stronger, then I'm not talking to you, am I? Okay, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the rest of us mortals, us mere simple mortals, all right? If you want to get stronger, and I'm talking to the people that want to get stronger, I run a strength training channel, all right? I'm not going to tell you how to run marathons. I'm not going to tell you how to do CrossFit. I'm not going to tell you how to do this or that. I'm just going to tell you how to get stronger, okay? I'm going to tell you the best way I know to get stronger. Now, here's another thing. People have talked to me about powerlifting and stuff like that because I do compete a little bit, you know. It's just a hobby. I'm not a professional by any means whatsoever. I'm not strong enough to do that. Frankly, I don't want to put my body through the things that them poor bastards put their bodies through, all right? They're on a different level, okay? I'm happy where I'm at, all right? I just do it as a hobby because I enjoy it. If I was a power lifter, my training would be different, okay? This is a point I want to make. My training would be different if I was training solely for powerlifting, all right? I wouldn't concentrate as much on overhead press because powerlifters concentrate on bench press, squat, and deadlift, okay? I would change my workout up a little bit, I'm not saying that I would never do overhead press, but things would change. Now, if I was training for strongman, my program would be different. There would still be a ton of overlap, just like in a powerlifting workout, but things would be different. What I do is general strength training, just the strengthening of your entire body, hopefully evenly across the entire level. Okay? I've covered a lot, but I don't want anybody to get confused by snake oil salesmen selling you products and programming. I want you to pay attention to the people that are talking to you and pay attention to their genetics, and don't think just because they look the part, they know the part. Don't get caught up in that bullshit. Be smarter than that. You gotta be quicker than that. Don't let your genetics discourage you. You can get in where you fit in. You just might have to compromise a little bit. You know what I mean? Anyway, if you've hung out this long, I appreciate it. If you got any questions or comments, you know where to put them. If you got any suggestions for videos, throw them at me. Let me know. All right? If you disagree with me, hell, let me know. I don't know everything. I can only tell you the things that I think I know through my training and my experiences. That's all. Okay? I'm going to finish up with this. If you run across anything in life that's difficult, that's hard, it's intimidating, you don't want to deal with it, you want to turn around and run the other way, just stop. Okay? Focus on it. Figure it out. Look at it from some different angles. Then go over there and start trying to whip its ass. You might not get it on the first try or the second or even the third. It might take you a week or two or longer. You know, life's tough. Trials and tribulations can crush you, but you've got to keep going. What's the alternative? Okay? Eventually you're going to whip its ass. Eventually you are going to master it. Okay? Then you're going to take that knowledge and you're going to move forward and you're going to be a totally different creature. You're going to be way more formidable. That's why I always say, never be afraid
To get in the pit.